its pandemic, breaking connections to the world, empowering language on humanity. Let's bring the world of learning in one channel. Welcome to Visitors Combinations English TV.
Hi there! How are you doing? I hope you are all safe and sound together with your family and friends. It's Sir Larry at your service. Welcome to this episode of Grade 10 English lesson for Quarter 4, Week 6 of your Learner's Packet. In this episode, our most essential learning competency is observe correct grammar in making definitions, with the topic constructing error-free definitions. In the introduction phase, let us start with no one should ever have to read a sentence twice because of the way it is put together, according to Foley of 1985. We cannot stress enough the importance of flawless writing, especially in research. An error-free paper reflects the researcher's credibility, so polish the final draft of your study to make it the best piece of writing that it can be. In this week's lesson, your proofreading skills will be put to the test as you comb through sample definitions for errors. How do we edit definitions for grammatical errors? An understanding of the sentence structures and its elements is crucial. First, we have to know the sentence structures. So this is the sentence structures review. Definitions may contain the following. An object of preposition. This is the noun or noun substitute in a prepositional phrase. We have phrase. This is a group of words without subject and the predicate. Next is subordinate or dependent clause. This is an arrangement of words with a subject and predicate that relies on an independent clause to give it meaning. We have prepositional phrase. This is a group of words which consists of a preposition and its object. Next is participial phrase, a verb form that functions as an adjective followed by any modifiers. These modifiers consist of a present participle, a verbal ending in ing, or a past participle, a verbal ending in en, ed, d, t, n, or ne, plus modifiers. Next, we have a relative pronoun. This is a pronoun that joins a clause to its antecedent. Next, we have modifier. A modifier is a word or phrase that limits or qualifies the meaning of another word. Misplaced modifier. It modifies the wrong word because it is placed incorrectly in the sentence. We also have participle. This is a verb form which is used as an adjective. Then goes with adjective or relative clause. This is a subordinate clause that functions as an adjective. We also have parallelism. This is the symmetry of ideas with words or group of words with equal grammatical ranks. Adjective phrase. This is a prepositional phrase that functions as an adjective. We also have sentence fragment. It happens when a period is put at the end of a phrase or a subordinate clause. And last, we have agreement. Agreement is the matching of word types to show accurate grammatical relationships. Next on our list is what to check for in definitions. Misplaced modifiers. Modifiers, whether single words or groups of words, function as either adjectives or adverbs. As adjectives, they modify nouns or pronouns. As adverbs, they modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Now, if a modifier is a single word, a prepositional phrase, or even a subordinate clause, it should be clearly attached to the word it modifies through careful placing in the sentence. A misplaced modifier may produce ambiguity. Just like the examples here. If we say a report was submitted about the latest bank heist by the police, we may sound ambiguous. In order to correct it, we have to place the modifier next to the word it modifies, as in, a report about the latest bank heist was submitted by the police. There are phrases and clauses that modify nouns. 1. Two types of phrases that function as modifiers of nouns are as follows. First, phrases composed of a preposition, such as on, in, of, to, etc., plus noun, pronoun, or noun-equivalent. Example, the room at the top, or the car with a stereo. The next one is phrases composed of a present participle or a verb ending in ing plus noun or pronoun, or a past participle plus modifier. Example, the man giving the lecture, or the books sold at the shop. Second, we also have a clause modifying a noun that is usually introduced by a relative pronoun, such as that, which, who, etc. Example, the bouquet which we made, the file that you sent yesterday, or the mother who returned the book. We have a note there. The use of parentheses indicates that the that, which, or who may be omitted. Here are another sample definitions with phrases or clauses. First, insulators are materials used to prevent the wires from becoming too hot when the circuit is overloaded. This is a participial phrase in the past form. Second, ecology is the study of relationships among organisms and their environment. This is an example of a prepositional phrase. Third, loggers are people who cut trees to get wood for building houses. This is an example of a relative or adjective clause. And last, pollutants are dirty things spreading out in the air and making the atmosphere dirty. This is an example of a participial phrase in ing form. We have to take note that the word that is defined is followed by a linking verb and a general term to which the word belongs. Second, a group of words introduced by which, that, or who follows the general term. And last reminder, a relative clause or an adjective clause, that, WH plus verb to be, which is is or are, may be omitted and reduced into a phrase introduced by a past participle, or a present participle, or a preposition. In defining a term, take a look at the diagram. Example, Salakab is a fish trap that is shaped like a basket. Or, salakab is a fish trap shaped like a basket. In the second example, the relative clause is now reduced into a phrase. Second, we also have sentence fragments. A sentence fragment is an incomplete sentence, usually missing either a subject or a verb, or both. When editing your writing, look closely for fragments and correct them. You don't want to confuse your reader. Sentence fragments are corrected by turning them into complete sentences. If we say, interested in biological science of animals, that is faulty. This is not a sentence. The subject, as well as the helping verb, are missing. To correct that, we may say, a zoologist is a biologist who takes interest in the biological science of animals. Another point is the errors in subject-verb agreement. The matching of word types to show grammatical relationships is called agreement. You shall recall some of the basic rules with what you've learned about nouns, pronouns, and verbs to help you understand the principles of agreement. SVA-Errors are among the most common grammatical mistakes. In order to avoid making mistakes in the subject-verb agreement, you must be able to recognize the difference between singular and plural subjects and verbs. If we say, banana are an edible fruit, botanically a berry, that is faulty. The subject and the verb has no agreement. To correct this, we may say, banana is an edible fruit, botanically a berry. The last one that you should take note is the unparalleled structures. Parallelism is the symmetry of ideas expressed in equal grammatical rank. Parallelism will enhance the clarity of your writing. Take a look at the examples. When we say an elephant is a large mammal with a prehensile trunk, long ivory tusks, and having large ears, that is a faulty sentence. The objects of preposition is not equal to the participial phrase. To correct it, we may say, an elephant is a large mammal with a prehensile trunk, long ivory tusks, and large ears. This time, the objects of preposition are all balanced. Let's do the following learning tasks. In the development phase, you have to do Activity 1 entitled Types of Relative Clause. The direction: read the story and tell what type each relative clause is, such as identifying, classifying, emphasis, adding, or connective. Followed by Activity 2 entitled Adjective Phrases in Definitions. The direction: match the first parts of the definitions on the left with their corresponding distinguishing characteristics on the right. Write only letter. Next, we have Activity 3 entitled Participial Phrases in Definitions. The directions: underline examples of participial phrases contained in the definitions below. Then, on the blank space before each number, tell whether the participle used to introduce the phrase is in the present or past participle form. Now we are going to enter the engagement phase with activity 4. Complete these definitions either with the full relative clause or the reduced form or a phrase. Choose the relative clause or reduced form from the following. Next is the assimilation phase, represented by activity 5. Checking for correct grammar when defining terminologies. The direction: what questions will you ask to complete the checklist? Down to the last part of our episode, assessment. Activity 6. The direction is write OK if each definition follows the format term plus linking verb plus class or category plus distinguishing characteristics. If it does not, rewrite the definition to make it correct. Look at the example. Conductors are used to allow electric current to flow through them. We may correct this one as conductors are materials used to allow electric current to flow through them. And that wraps up our lesson for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you will continue to learn amid the pandemic. Happy learning, stay safe, and until the next episode, only here at DCBES MNH's English team.